If you want to learn the use of machine learning and computer vision in Android, then join the complete 2021 Android machine learning course. The course is available both on Udemy and Skillshare. Links are given in the description. Welcome to this lecture. As in the previous lectures, you have learned to choose images from gallery or capture them using camera. And after that, we are displaying those images inside our Android application, and we are converting those images into bitmap format. And our ultimate goal is to pass those bitmaps to our machine learning models and get the predictions from the model. And now in these lectures we will take one step further and we will learn to display the live camera footage inside our Android application, and then we will learn to get the frames of that live camera footage as bitmaps so that we can pass those bitmaps to our machine learning models and build real-time image classification, object detection, face detection and other such applications. So let's begin. So we will start by creating a new Android Studio project. So open your Android Studio and create a new project. And here choose this empty activity, then click next. And here make sure that your language is Java. And here choose the application name. So I will name it LF. And after that make sure that your minimum SDK version is 21, then click finish. And this project will be created and the Gradle will be built in a moment. So now our project is created and the Gradle is built. And now we will follow the steps to build this application. And in order to build this live feed application, we are gonna follow another Medium story. And that story is also written by me. So in this lecture resources, you will find a file named resources live footage. So just download that zip file and unzip it. And inside it, you will find these 5 files. And at the end, you will have this link.txt. So just open it. And inside this file we have the link of our Medium story. So just copy this link and open your browser and paste the link here and press enter, and this story will be loaded. So now this story is loaded and here we have the steps that we are gonna follow to build this live feed application. So here we will start by looking at this permission section. So the first step is adding this camera permission inside your Android manifest file. And that is because we want to display the live camera footage inside our application, so we need to add this permission. So just copy these 3 lines and move back to your application. And here go inside this manifest folder and paste these lines above this application tag. And here you can see that we are firstly asking for the camera permission, and then we are asking for some features, like we are asking for this camera feature and the autofocus feature of camera. So if you want to use any hardware component and its feature, then you need to declare those features as well. So we declared both of these features. So after declaring these permissions inside the manifest file, we need to dynamically ask for these permissions. If you are running or testing this application on a device running Android Marshmallow or later, then you need to manually or dynamically ask for these permissions inside the code. So just copy this section and paste it inside your own create method of main activity, and then we will look at it. So just paste it here. And now we need to add the import. So just click on this build and press Alt plus enter. And similarly add the import for activity compact, manifest and package manager. So here you can see that we are firstly checking the SDK version of the device, and if that is equal to or greater than Marshmallow, then we are checking if the camera permission is granted or not. So if the camera permission is denied, then we will ask for this permission here. Otherwise, in the else block, if the camera permission is granted, then we will write the code to display the live camera footage. And same is the case if the SDK version is less than Marshmallow, then the permission will be automatically granted because we declared it inside our manifest file. So here we will write the code to display the live camera footage. And after asking for this permission, we need to add a method name onRequestPermissionResult, so that once the user will give the permission, we will display the live camera footage. and we have this method here inside our code. So just copy this next block and paste it below this onCreate method. So I'm gonna paste it here, and now add the imports, and that's it. So now you can see that inside this method we will check if the permission is granted. Then here we will call the same method to display the live camera footage, or we will write the code to display the live camera footage. So hopefully you are getting the idea that firstly we will check if the camera permission is granted or not. So if that permission is granted, then we will display the live camera footage. And if that permission is not granted, we will ask for this permission, and then once the user will give the permission, we will display the live camera footage, or we will call the method to display the live camera footage inside our application again here. So after adding this permission related code, the next step is pasting these three files inside your Android Studio project, and I will explain their purpose later. So you need to paste this camera connection fragment, this AutoFit texture view, and this image util inside your Android Studio project. So open the resources folder, and there you can see that we have these three classes here, this AutoFit texture view, this camera connection fragment, and this image util. So just copy them and paste them inside your Android Studio project where your main activity is present. So I'm gonna paste them here and click refactor. And now let's open them one by one and see whether they contain an error or not. So firstly we will open this AutoFit texture view, and you can see that there is no error inside this file. And then open this image util, and it also does not contain any error. And then open this camera connection fragment, and there will be one error inside this class. So when you scroll down, there you can see that it says that this r.id.texture is not present. So it says that a view with the ID texture is not present inside your Android Studio project, and that is because we did not created any view yet, or we did not created the GUI of our application. And once we will create that, this error will be gone. So now let me quickly explain the purpose of all of these three classes. So here this first AutoFit texture view class is a view in which the live camera footage will be displayed. As in Android, when we show an image, the image is displayed inside an image view. So the image view will gonna display that image. And similarly, in order to display the live camera footage, we need a view, and that view is this AutoFit texture view. So there should be a question in your mind that when we display an image, we add that image view inside our XML file. But we created this Java class here for this AutoFit texture view. And the answer is we will add an object of type AutoFit texture view inside our XML file in next couple of minutes. So inside our XML we will add this view, and we will display the live camera footage inside it. And after that we have this camera connection fragment, and it is actually a simple fragment in which we have the Camera2 API related code to display the live camera footage. So all the code to display the live camera footage is present here, and that is actually a simple Android fragment, and you can show this fragment inside your activity. So you know that in Android, fragments are mini activities. They have their own life cycle and GUI, and you can display multiple fragments inside your activities. So that is actually a simple fragment in which we have the live camera footage related code, and we will display this fragment inside our main activity. And then we have this image util class, and it contains some utility functions which will gonna help us later to convert the frames of that live camera footage into bitmaps. So after pasting these files, the next step is creating the GUI for this fragment, and we have that code here inside our story. So there you can see that we need to create a layout file named camerafragment.xml and place the code inside it. So just copy this code and move back to your Android Studio, and here inside this res folder, go inside this layout folder, and here right click on it and click new and create this layout resource file, and then name this file to camera fragment. So I'm gonna name it camera_fragment, and now press enter. and then go inside this code section for this file and remove that code that is already present and paste the new code that we copied. And here you can see that we added a relative view, and inside this relative view we have this autofit texture view, and that is showing an error because we need to specify a correct path here because now our application package name is changed. So when you will remove this line and type com.example, there you can see that com.example.lfjava.autofit texture view, and just add it. So now the error is gone. So we created this XML file, and inside that we added this autofit texture view, and we will associate this camera fragment with this camera connection fragment, and we will do that inside our main activity. So after creating this camera fragment or adding this autofit texture view inside our GUI, the next step is adding a frame layout inside our main activity GUI, and that is because in order to display a fragment inside an activity, we usually use frame layout, and inside that frame layout that fragment is shown. So inside our main activity.xml we need to place this code or place this frame layout. So just copy it and move back to your Android Studio, and here go inside this code section of activity main.xml and remove this text view, and after that paste the frame layout. And now you can see that inside our main activity we added this frame layout with the ID container. And the next step will be replacing this frame layout with this camera connection fragment, and the layout associated with this camera connection fragment will be this camera fragment.xml. And now inside our main activity we will write the code to replace this container with this camera connection fragment so that the live camera footage will be visible inside our applications. So move back to this main activity.java, and here we will write the code, and that code is actually present here inside our story. So you can see this section showing live camera footage. So just copy all of this code and paste it below the onCreate method, and then we will look at it. So I'm gonna copy it, and then here below this onRequestPermission result, let's paste the code, and after that we will add the imports. So now the import is added. So there you can see that we actually pasted this setFragment method here, and inside this method we are creating an object of type this camera connection fragment. So with the help of this camera connection fragment.new instance, we are creating a new object of type this camera connection fragment, and then we are replacing the container with that fragment here. So with the help of this getFragmentManager.BeginTransaction.Replace method, we are replacing this container with this camera connection fragment. So once this method will be executed, an object of type camera connection fragment will be created, or the code related to Camera2 API will be initialized, and then we will show this fragment inside our activity. And once this fragment will be visible, you will have the live camera footage being displayed inside this container. So here you can see that we have one error, and that is for the second parameter of this camera connection fragment.new instance method. So we created this method inside this camera connection fragment. So there you can see that inside it we have this new instance method, and inside this method we are taking 4 parameters. And here the first parameter is this connection callback, and this is actually a callback which will be executed once the live camera footage will be displayed inside our application. So we are passing it here as a first parameter. So inside your main activity you can see that we created this camera connection fragment.connection callback here, and we implemented its method on preview size chosen. So once the live camera footage will be displayed, this callback will be executed and this method will be called. And inside this method we will get the width and height of each frame of live camera footage. And we are initializing another variable named sensor orientation, and we will look at it later. So that is the first parameter, and the second parameter is this onImageAvailable listener. and it is actually an interface which should be implemented inside this main activity, and with the help of this interface we will get the frames of live camera footage one by one. But we are passing our activity here and our activity is not implementing that interface, so move back to the top and here implement an interface name on image available listener. So when I will type this on image, you will see a suggestion that on image available listener, so just click on it, and then we need to implement its method on image available, so just click on it, and now this method will be added. So now inside this method we can get the frames of live camera footage. So for each frame of live camera footage this method will be called, and we can get that particular frame here, and then we will convert this frame into a bitmap format and then we will pass it to our model. And you can get that frame with the help of this reader object. So reader.acquire latest image will gonna return you that latest frame, and after that you can convert it and do whatever you want to do with it. And after you will process that frame you will need to close it, otherwise this live camera footage will be stuck. So here after getting that frame we will close it, and now this second error is gone. And the third parameter is the layout associated with this camera connection fragment, and we are passing this camera fragment here. So r.layout.camerafragment.xml or the XML file where we have this autofit texture view. And then the fourth parameter is a size variable, and with the help of this size variable you can specify the size of live camera footage. So I specified the size to 640 into 480, but you can choose your own size. So after adding these parameters, an object of type this camera connection fragment will be created, and we will replace this container with that camera connection fragment. And now we need to call this method. So once we will call this method, an object of type camera connection fragment will be created, and it will be displayed, or this fragment will be visible inside our main activity. And we will call this method here inside these else blocks. So if the camera permission is granted, then we will call this setFragment method. And similarly, if the SDK version is less than m, then we will call it setFragment. And again we will call it inside our own request permission result once the user will give the camera permission. And that's it. Now when you will run this application, you will see that the live camera footage will be visible inside your application. So now let's quickly review the process and then we will test this application. So firstly, we created a new Android Studio project, and then we added the permission for camera inside our manifest file, and then we are asking for those permissions here inside our main activity. And after that we placed these three files, this autofit texture view, this camera connection fragment, and this image util inside our Android Studio project. And that is for showing the live camera footage, and this camera connection fragment is a fragment which will display the live camera footage inside this autofit texture view. And this image util is a class which contains some utility functions which will gonna help us later. After that we created this camera fragment.xml and we placed this autofit texture view inside it. And then inside our main activity we added a frame layout, and later we will replace this frame layout with this camera connection fragment. And we are doing it inside our main activity, so we created this method setFragment here, and inside this method we are creating an object of type camera connection fragment, and then we are replacing this container with this camera connection fragment. After that we are calling this method here, so once this method will be executed, the live camera footage will be displayed inside our application. So now let's run this application inside a real device and test it. The application is installed inside my real device, and there you can see that we have the live camera footage being displayed inside this application. So congratulations, we have successfully built our live feed application using Camera2 API inside Android. If you want to learn the use of machine learning and computer vision in Android, then join the complete 2021 Android machine learning course. The course is available both on Udemy and Skillshare. Links are given in the description.